All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another round of coffee and questions. And what's today's topic? Well, it's the weekend. And for the past couple of weekends, I had an order where somebody wanted me to make them a picnic table. And I thought, well, I'm going to make a couple of them because I think I'll make one for myself because I had some design ideas. Now, the frustration was online, I couldn't find anything that would give me the dimensions, or at least when I did find plans, I didn't like some of the dimensions that they had, truthfully. So I had to play around, modify, think about it, go through all that. I'm going to give you all the information that I used, including the measurements, and I'm going to show you like a slideshow. We'll talk about every step that I went through to complete the project. Now, if I had to go back and take a look at everything, I would tell you there's a debate. Like, couldn't you just went out and bought one and saved yourself money and headache? You could have, but they're flimsy. You can't buy something like what I'm going to show you that I built because it's built stout. And I put tabs on it, which I'm going to show you, to where if something ever goes wrong with the wood, you can easily remove it, replace it, restain it, whatever, and boom, you're back in business. So this thing will last and last and last. And so what was the overall cost of the project? Well, we're looking at about $60 in rectangular steel. It was 065 wall thickness. And I think I spent probably about $40, $50, in wood, and then you probably got another $3 or $4 in lag bolts. And I got some tabs or whatever from out there, was $7 for, a 10-foot length of 1.5-inch wide steel. I mean, if you go to a steel supplier and you don't buy this, from the big boxes, you're going to save a lot of money. So it's not that expensive. I mean, I didn't feel, so I went ahead. That's what I did. So let's switch inside, and I'm going to take you step by step. I'll mention the costs again as we go, and I'm going to give you the dimensions. All right, see you inside just a sec. Okay, folks, let's start off with the picture that I had in the beginning. Now, this is one I got off of the web, and I keep photos on my phone to, sell products and stuff like that. And I showed this to the customer. They said, no, that's going to be way too heavy. That's not what we wanted. So we're going to kind of design it a little bit more lightweight, let's say. And I said, okay, fine, go ahead. And then just let me have the picture or the drawing, and we'll go from there. Okay, so after they sketched it out on paper, and we decided we're going to use, 1.5-inch wide rectangular steel, and we're going to use, different things to make this lightweight. This is what we came up with. Okay, so this was the final thing that we came up with and what I built. Now you'll see the edge on the table. I've still got to touch up the black edge there, but otherwise it's completed. And I'll go through how I did it and the dimensions. So let's start with the bench itself. Okay, now there are some errors I made along the way, but I was able to cover them up. But let's start. These are the benches flipped upside down, and they're made out of 1.5-inch wide rectangular steel, and they're cut at 45, all except for the bottom. People want to put some type of plastic plugs on there. They're going to put them out like on a concrete patio. And I wanted to 45 them, and for some reason I didn't, and they want to use the plugs, and I thought, fine, that's fine. I mean, it's not going to be anywhere where it's going to get damaged and rusted out fast. So, all right, so that's the first thought. Second thought, while we were out there, for like $6 or $7, I bought 10 feet of this 1.5 or 1.75-inch wide flat steel. You see where I made the supports here along the bottom and welded them on. And then the lag bolts here were probably like about $3 or $4 out at Lowe's or Home Depot, wherever I bought them. And these are the tabs that are going to help support or give you the additional support for the wood. Now, what did I use for wood? I used 10x2s of Doug fir, and that's what these are, and they're cut to the length. Now, I didn't cut these until after I had everything welded up. Now, one of the questions is, where's your neighbor going to buy the plugs from? King Metals. I'll leave you the web address here. I'm not an affiliate or anything, but King Metals is a fantastic supplier of like odds and ends of decorative stuff and more hard to find things than you can locally. Okay, so to start off with, when you lay out these 6-foot pieces, I'll put the dimensions up here right now of these benches, and so you can replicate them. I found it was hard to find what I wanted design-wise with dimensions online, so I had to take some time and figure out the measurements myself, and the measurements turned out fine. Okay, so when you start welding this, whether you use a speed square or magnetic, 90-degree angle, magnets or whatever, you can get them out at Harbor Freight or anywhere. And you can use like a speed square. I got mine off Amazon from Empire. I'll try to remember to leave you the link below.
you want to square everything and you want to tack weld. And you want to go back and you want to check your squareness and make sure everything's level. I mean, it's not hard to do if you just take your time on the first go around here. And then when you're satisfied that it's all looking good, then you can go ahead and finish out all your welds. If your welds look sloppy, don't worry about it. You can use a 4.5-inch angle grinder, which is what I did anyway, to take them down and make them kind of disappear so that when I painted it, they wouldn't be visible. Okay, on the outside of this, what did I do? I wiped everything down with acetone twice. Got it incredibly clean. I shot a light coat of primer over it, and then I came back across it with textured paint. Now, textured paint comes in a variety of colors. Lowe's, Home Depot, all the big boxes carry them. You can get whatever color you want. Now, you'll also see in the photo the wood. Now, I used a wood preservative on the bottom, not the top, because I wanted to do the top a little bit more different in terms of, color in the wood. So, at the bottoms that didn't show, I put 2 coats of wood preservative on there, and on the sides and on the end grain. So after the preserva wood dried, after about a day or two, I went ahead and I put them on the bottom, put the lag bolts into it. And then right here, this is easy to go ahead and paint all of this at that point, like I said, with the textured paint. You just got to make sure, when you flip it over, you don't get it on the face of what you're doing. But I knew it wouldn't matter because I'm going to change the color of it, drastically. Anyway, that's how I did the bottom of these. And you'll see that they're ready, like I said, to be painted. And you'll see the other ones flipped over. And I have a can of finish there, and I'll explain to you that in a few minutes. All right, question, can you discuss the tab part of this? Yeah, I should have made them a little bit longer, but I mean, it wasn't really necessary because if you look at the tabs, I welded it on all 3 sides, drilled a hole through there so that the lag bolt would easily go through, and you just use a ratchet, put them into the wood and tighten it up. That's simple, and it holds it incredibly secure. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward and let me show you another picture, a couple of comments, and we'll keep going and I'll answer the questions in as much detail as I can. Okay, now this is just a photo close-up of what I'm talking about with the tabs to give you an idea of how I did it. All right, so the next question was, how did you do the top? Well, I sanded it down. Now with the Doug fir, I started at 80, then I went to 120, and I went to 150. You don't have to do that. You could have stopped at 120. I mean, it's just a picnic bench, but this is the way that I did it. Now, I had 2 cans of Armor Seal. One was Seal-A-Cell, which seals it, and then I lightly sanded it, and then I put 3 coats of Armor Seal gloss on top. Now, you don't have to use this product. It's what I had laying around. I mean, there are lots of outdoor polyurethanes and so forth you can get at Lowe's and Home Depot, but this is what I did. And I ended up putting 3 coats on it, and you'll see the textured paint here on the rails. If there's anything that you missed or whatever, you can just use blue masking tape or something like that. Tape the wood off, shoot it, there you go. And with the textured paint, actually it dries fast, but I still let it sit overnight before, I went ahead and I did anything else with them. Okay, so this is just a shot of me exploding it more so you can see how it turned out. And this is just the natural color of the wood, and all I put on it was, like I said, an outdoor varnish. Okay, so now let's talk about the table. And I'm going to put the dimensions up here for you of what I came up with measurement-wise, for the table. Now, what you're going to see here in the picture is they wanted pine, which was fine. And they wanted me to change the color of it, which after looking at photos, I mean, I'll explain to you how I did it. That's what's showing you here. And so what I did is I sanded the whole top of this down to 150. I used, I think, 150 to start off with because the pine was pretty darn nice looking to begin with. When you're out there, you want to make sure you get straight boards. Tilt them up on the end, look down the edge, make sure you don't have any warps or twisting, because if you look here, these are 3 pieces of pine that were glued together. Okay, and then I let sit, took the clamps off, and then I went ahead and I put a very light routed edge if you have a router all the way around it. If you don't, you can use a sander. I just wanted to take the sharp edge off of it. And then I started sanding the top, like I said. Then I got to 150, and then I coated the whole top of this solid black with a black dye. Now I use trans tint, and you can mix it in a variety of things, including water, I mean, if you want to. And I wiped this whole thing down and made it look solid black all the way around. Then with that 150 disc, the random orbital you see here in the picture, I went ahead and I started sanding it back off. Not totally, but I sanded it down pretty well. Okay, now I didn't have total faith in the glue up of this and these 3 boards, and I didn't want them to have a problem, so this is what I did next. Okay, so this is just giving you kind of like an underside shot. Now you'll see I welded those tabs on there for this too, and I went around, I think there's 2 or 3 on each long side, and I put a board going the other way here to help secure and hold this in. That's what it's showing here in the picture. Okay, here's another underneath shot. I mean, this is how I did both the table and the benches with those tabs like I was showing you. It's just giving you another view. Okay, we're back to this. So after I had it all black with the dye, I went ahead, like I said, I sanded it back. Okay, so what did I do next? I cleaned it all off, I blew it off, I wiped it down real good, and then I turned around and I put this red colored dye on here. Again, it's a trans tint dye. And I'll explain to you the mixturing in a little bit. You can make it real bold, you can make it real light. Trans tint is not cheap, okay, but it goes an incredibly long ways because you just need a couple of drops at a time. Anyway, red. I went ahead and I wiped down the entire surface like you see here in the picture. Like I said, not the best picture. I wiped it down with red and I let it dry. Okay, and after drying, then I turned around and I sanded it with 220 this time. Not as aggressive, but I sanded it down back to like a lighter shade like you see here in the picture. Then again, I blew it off, wiped it all down real good. What did I do next? Okay, I mixed up yellow trans tint in the same stuff and I wiped it on here. Then I let it dry. I did not sand it anymore. It's already been sanded, you know, throughout the other colors. Okay, you'll see in that front portion there where I went ahead and I tried some varnish on there to see how it was going to come out. Now I did try it on a scrap piece of wood. It looked great, so I began to do it on this table. I stopped, I took this photograph because it's a little bit easier to explain. I touched up the black edge on this side. I didn't touch it up on the other side yet, like I showed you in the original photograph. But then I started, after the yellow dried, I started putting the top coats on here. So the first one's going to be more or less a seal coat, and then you can very lightly sand it. Very lightly with a high grit like 400 just to get the nubs and stuff off. Okay, now when you start applying that top coat, all of a sudden this thing pops and you go, wow. And the picture really doesn't do it the most justice. You'll see a lot of it here that I've done, and there's still the other side here. I'm still varnishing. I'm putting the varnish on rather at the time, and I just took a quick photograph, but you can see the difference in what it looks like on the final sanding versus starting to put, you know, your coats of finish on here. It just pops and comes to life, which is really cool. And you can see so after it being out in the driveway and I put that first coat on there, I let it dry. I lightly went over it. I think it was with 600 or 800, just barely, I mean, took off the nubs and stuff, cleaned it off super well, wiped it down, brought it into the garage because I don't have a spray booth. But this is where, you know, you're not going to get a lot of wind and debris. Cleaned the shop up to the best that I could. Then I went ahead and I started applying the top finish coats. Now in total, I put 3 on there. Okay, on the first one, like I said, 800, and on the rest of them, I didn't have to touch it. One just kept blending into the other, and I didn't have really hardly any imperfections in this as long as you keep it in some kind of a dust-free environment or they're close to it. Okay, this is just a different angle shot of the same table as I'm building those coats. All right, here it is back outside, a little bit of sunlight, a little bit better picture I was able to take of that top. Okay, so this is it, and when it's done, I did not want the benches attached to the table like you see in a lot of photographs. I wanted them, and they wanted them so that they were able to move them around, get them in close, pull them back a little bit if they want to. Partially, this was their design idea, and partially mine. Now, you know, the errors along the way. Now, I would not necessarily have chosen pine, but this is what they wanted, and it was like, okay, because they were just concerned they want to keep it lightweight. Well, you know, the 1.5 inch wide, you know, 065 steel worked out perfectly. So I was glad that I made that choice when it came to the steel. The tabs, like I said, were inexpensive, easy to do. The paint wasn't much. What would I change on this, you know, if I had to do it again? You know, me personally, you know, the top wasn't that big of a deal. I just thought it looked a little thin for a picnic table, but this is what they wanted. So, and they wanted me to change, you know, the color in it. I mean, totally. So I went, you know, from black to red to yellow, and that gave me kind of what I think is a really nice looking tabletop. All right, folks, well, I'm the home handyman. I hope you click subscribe. I hope you keep following me. Like I said, take photographs of your work, show them around. It's like a side gig for me, and it could be for you too, and you can sell this stuff intermittently. So if you know of something better, drop it in the comment below. Otherwise, you know, look, I hope you click subscribe. I hope you keep following me. I could have made this a long video and showed you the welding and all that other stuff, but that gets kind of boring. So I'm just explaining to you the dimensions and the products that I use to get it to the point where you see here in the picture. I think it turned out great. And, look, to each their own. I mean, design it how you want. There's a billion designs out there, and I gave you the dimensions. Like I said, I just found it frustrating that nobody really was giving me the dimensions that I was looking for, and I had to figure out some of this, but I included them in the video for you. You can make it a little bit higher, you can make it a little bit wider, you can do whatever you want from the dimensions that I gave you, and I showed you in the pictures how this turned out. I hope you click subscribe, like I said, and I'll see you again in the future. All products I will put in the description below that I use and the ones that I believe in using. You folks have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.